Season 8 of Drake's Migration Nation is powered by Hydra-Trek, powerful, rugged, amphibious vehicles. Previously on Drake's Migration Nation, we've traveled to the Pacific Northwest to hunt mallards in the bitter cold with regional host Bill Saunders. We've had great times with Todd Copley in the cornfields of Iowa.
Nice shot! Man, that was out there.
We've run the Missouri River with Barney Califf. And we've hunted the wind-blown landscape of western Oklahoma. Today, we travel east to Maryland to meet up with Jeff Coates to gun the saltwater of the Atlantic Ocean and take a look back at a time when hand-carved wooden decoys were commonplace.
Gonna be a good morning. Yeah.
Drake's Migration Nation is powered by Hydra-Trek.
Northeast Regional host Jeff Coates is a real character, and he loves sharing his history and heritage of his region. On this episode, Jeff takes us to Virginia for a little taste of East Coast waterfowl tradition.
So as we arrive, there's a very strong low pressure that's coming out on the coast off of South Carolina. And what we would call that here is a nor'easter. So as it moves up the coast, it spins counterclockwise, pushing moisture as well as strong winds from the east and northeast. And strong winds it is. It starts right out in the east at 25 to 35 with gusts of 40 knots and then turns to a strong northeast wind. We've got big waves, we've got a lot of rain, and the other factor is that it packs and pushes the Atlantic Ocean up against the shoreline, which does not allow the tide to fall as much as it normally would. So what's that mean? We've got extremely high water everywhere.
The east wind has went more northeast on us. We got the sea foam kicking up. The waves are kicking up. The forecast is 10 to 13 feet with still a good east-northeast wind this afternoon, 25 to 30 with gusts of 40. So I'm definitely not sea duck hunting today, and really we're not Brant or black duck hunting today. So the next best thing we can do to save our afternoon is head to the museum.
With the high water and the strong winds, we really can't gun safely. So let's do the next best thing. Let's travel to Salisbury, Maryland, and visit the Ward Waterfowl Museum. The current exhibit is Chincoteague Island Tides and Times, which features many of the carving legends on the island, as well as our good friend Arthur Leonard.
All right, so this is a really cool display, but follow me because this is really all we came here for. Check this out. See this guy right here? Is this guy over here? Right here, see? It's the man, the myth, and the legend all the way from Chincoteague. Arthur Leonard.
Met Jeff Coates when I was going to a lot of decoy competitions. Jeff was learning to carve himself back then, and we would compete against each other. You know, we were competitors.
This is an exhibit of Chincoteague decoys through the years. It's a little history of the island thrown in. Chincoteague's a little different from everywhere else, and we've got a lot of carvers that have gone through history making decoys. There's a few of my birds that I've carved in this case. Starting off with, there's a goldeneye, a Barrow's goldeneye, which we don't see much in this area, but it was a different bird that I wanted to carve, and it eventually won the Best of Show award here at the Ward Foundation for a hunting decoy competition.
Let's see, I started carving by going to other people's houses when I was very young. You know, I was more interested in buying their carvings than I was learning how to carve myself. Eventually, I sat there long enough talking to them, and you know, one of the guys says, "Hey, why don't you learn to do this? You know, you've collected them for a few years, and you've sat here with me for hours and hours. You know, start carving yourself." So what he did was gave me a knife. He carved one half of the decoy, and then told me to match my side up to what he had done. That's been 40 years ago, maybe.
But there's other birds in here. This Brant, for instance, I was learning to carve, and another of the Chincoteague carvers, Cigar Daisy, taught me how to paint it.
The cigar legend. Delbert. I think one of my very first Brant that I tried to carve, I used one of his patterns.
Yeah, didn't we all? Cigar was a well-known decoy carver on the island. He passed on a lot of his knowledge. He gapped the generations between the old carvers that started at the turn of the century and all the new carvers that are carving now. Cigar got us all going. He learned from those guys and we learned from him. He's an outlaw, a legend, and a teacher all in one guy. Great guy, great to talk to, knows anything and everything about waterfowl flying up and down the coast.
It's really great that Arthur could take a few minutes out of his day and come up and check out the exhibit with us. He really is a wealth of knowledge for the local Chincoteague Island carving.
To keep up with all the hunting action, check us out on the web. Season 8 of Drake's Migration Nation is powered by Hydra-Trek, powerful, rugged, amphibious vehicles. Rio Ammunition, share the experience. Mojo Outdoors, it ain't magic if it ain't Mojo. Boss Drives, take charge. Prodigy Boats. And by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting.
I'm ready to go. You know, being the stout man that I am, I generally do not like waders. But these MST Drake breathables, man, they are super comfortable, and I feel like I don't even have waders on. As a matter of fact, during my sea duck hunting this year, I wore them many, many times in the boat, and I don't even get out and walk around in the ocean. It's just a beautiful day on the island. But sincerely, man, the water is really, really high. It's not quite like this generally, but there's a lot of water here.
It's a nor'easter.
Now this nor'easter, if the temperatures are a little bit lower, this is when we would really get a lot of snow. When that little low pressure pops off the Carolinas and just moves up the coast, spinning counterclockwise, just pumps some moisture inland. And if there's any kind of temperature, you get a lot of snow. And in this case, we got a lot of rain. Did I make it? Whew, wasn't sure on that one. Water really is high. So off we go in search of the elusive black duck. Hey, and if nobody's told you, welcome to Chincoteague Island.
All right, Arthur, that northeast wind that this was kind of in the lee yesterday went northwest on us, and she's chunky out.
Yes, it's blown a little bit. We've got a 4 foot over normal tide, and we've got, you know, swells in here where yesterday we were in a nice lee. So you got to deal with the weather, being on the salt water, being out here in the bay like we are. It's kind of hard to hunt like this. It's you got to deal with what you got to deal with.
Chincoteague slang is we're in a poller blind. Poller? Poller. We're in a poller blind this morning, which is really, again, with the high water, it wouldn't be quite the way it looks this morning, but it is a blind that's on poles, a box blind on the water with a boat high behind us. And we got a nice little northwest breeze behind us, and the pintail and the black duck are sitting right over there on the refuge. We just need them to come on out over this way. The forecast has held true. It's been pretty much a steady 25 right out of the northwest. With it being mild and warm, no ice, the birds are just sitting right there on the refuge. The eagle scares them up occasionally, but other than that, man, I don't think they're gonna move a whole lot today.
We've made a strong attempt for the black duck, set up in a great spot, but all of the birds are staying on the refuge. They're not coming out onto the salt waters. So let's get back down to the island and start thinking about doing some gunning, chasing the black duck and the Brant. How about the mid-morning move
Arthur just scouted out the other 2 blinds, and there were a few Brant sitting behind the one, and it'd be a little bit more out of the wind, so the decoys might look a tad bit better on the open water here. So I think we're going to head over that way. All right, man. I got a good feeling about this one. So spot number 2, this is a little bit out of the wind. It's still breezy out, but this is the water looks a lot better here. There are some more bufflehead seem to be trading back and forth through this little cut, and this is definitely a much better spot for the Brant. That early spot this morning really was more for trying for the black duck. So happy Tuesday afternoon to you. We're gonna get some Brant here, I know.
Once we got set up, or as Arthur would say, we got stooled out for the Brant, the birds in the area started working.
Nice shot, Jeff.
Well, you didn't think I got it?
I know, I didn't at first. I really didn't.
Hey, see this?
I did. I see that now.
Okay. I just want you to see it. All right, I'm on the board now. Thank you, Matt. Well, I think I had him on the first one. Here, Tim. Good, Matt. She was moving. From season 7 now into season 8, my black electric tape with a little bit of epoxy is holding up fine.
To keep up with all the hunting action, check us out on the web. Season 8 of Drake's Migration Nation is powered by Hydra Trek, powerful, rugged, amphibious vehicles.
It's a real nice example of an Atlantic Brant. Just a real nice adult bird. It's got a nice neck patch on him. It's just a cool little bird. All right, Mac has 2. I need one more Brant. We'll call it an afternoon.
So in the mid-afternoon lull, the wind has picked up. We're not really paying attention, and here come a nice pair of Brant on the deck, right to the blind.
The migration is on. Oh, how about this pair? All right, the wind has not let up. And although it's been a good day, it's been a little slow as far as the birds go, but I'm still classifying it as a great day. And we're gonna call it an afternoon. We've got some Brant, a few bufflehead. The big ducks never really worked as well just because it's been very mild. So we're gonna be back at it bright and early tomorrow. See you then.
Even though we've had plenty of wind, the temperatures are very, very mild, and therefore the birds just really aren't that active. They're not really moving around. So throughout the entire trip, we've really dealt with the lack of birds in the sense of that they're just not moving. So ever since back in the mid-90s, I've always gunned over my own Brant decoys. In the beginning, some of them were very, very crude, yes, but they worked, and the Brant always decoyed to them nicely. I guess it's a mix of a little rush and a little sense of pride when the Brant visit the birds that I've made.
I like hunting with Jeff because he's gotten more into the heritage of the waterfowling. He understands it. It's not just the going out and the killing of the birds. It's all about the decoys and the camaraderie and being with your friends. It's not all about the killing anymore. It's about coming down and hanging out, doing a little hunting, going out to dinner. There's a lot to be said for having friends in the blind with you. That's one of the reasons why I like Jeff. He's a good waterfowling friend.
We're back in the polar blind. Polar. I thought you said polar, man. Come on. Polar blind? Polar blind. He's messing with me now. Polar, man, where I come from, it's not called either. But Arthur likes to call it the polar blind, kind of like the parlor. So with a polar blind, they're really box blinds that are built on poles out on the open water with a really nice boat hide that you can pull in behind and climb up into the box to gun from. They're very well constructed, comfortable, but more importantly, they're very effective. We finally have gotten Aiden in the blind. Aiden's with us, Arthur, and the Bama dog. He and I have been reunited. So we're gonna get after the Brant here. I got a pretty good feeling. We'll have at least a couple coming this afternoon.
That's the way they should do it, man. They hear that call and they see the black and the white, and they go out of their way to decoy.
Atlantic trophies.
Yeah, man. On many people's bucket list, that's for sure. I love these little birds. You know, regardless whether we hit them or not, I still get a really cool feeling when birds come to something that you made. So the full bodies we made, I think they're about 8 seasons old now, and those V-boards are definitely old. So I always get a really cool kick out of having something come right to something that I made. So neat stuff.
To keep up with all the hunting action, check us out on the web. Season 8 of Drake's Migration Nation is powered by Hydra-Trek, powerful, rugged, amphibious vehicles. Rio Ammunition, share the experience. Mojo Outdoors, it ain't magic if it ain't Mojo. Boss Drives, take charge. Prodigy Boats. And by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting.
A super Friday morning it is. We went from 64 of a high from yesterday to right about 38 right now. We got a nice little breeze and a crystal clear sky, but at least it feels a little more like duck hunting this morning.
So over the past 2 years, the Brant season has only been 30 days long with a 1-bird limit. We're very fortunate this year to have a 45-day season, 2-bird limit. With only being 2 birds, we have to be very careful on how we shoot them. So the following day, I called my good friend Mark Spagnola. He's a fellow sea duck guide in Maryland. We are always busy and never had the opportunity to share a blind together. Plus, he's never had the opportunity to get a Brant. I get him down here, let's get out on the shoal and see what we can find. So a decoy technique I like to use is what I describe as long lining decoys. 12 individual decoys that are clipped to one main line that I have 2 15-pound weights on each end. It's a very effective way to combat the tide as well as the winds that we experience here. The decoys go out very simple and they're very easy and quick to pick up. The decoys are set and we're in the back of the parlor blind messing in the boat hide, and here comes 3 Brant that won't stay out of the decoys. Look how pretty that is, huh? So now our expectations are really high. Let's jump up in the blind and see if Mark can get a bird. Hey, Murphy's Law right there. But because we put the Tom Matus canvas backs out, that's what's giving us the luck. And it's gonna be on. It really is, sincerely. Barely getting settled in the blind. Here comes the single right in. We're really not set up, but I wanted to make sure Mark got his bird, and he did.
Right end, left. Mark, you ready on this one?
No, not ready.
Yeah, man, that's the way they decoy. They decoyed nice. Single came from a distance there, just came right on in like the way it done.
Thanks. That's my first Brant.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, man. It's on now.
Pretty bird.
I did bust him up in the rain.
Awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jeff.
First Brant.
Very pretty. Even the weight on the back is all
Yeah, man.
like a fluff snow.
Yep, it's all just all nice and there.
So sharing a blind with Arthur over these past couple of days, it's reminded me that we shot our first Brant together back in the year 2000. It's an honor and a pleasure to call him my friend. Thank you, Arthur, for allowing me to come down and experience once again this region of the Migration Nation.
There's something pretty special about hunting in an area with that much waterfowl history, especially when Captain Jeff Coates is your tour guide. Thanks, Jeff, for keeping the East Coast waterfowl heritage alive in the Migration Nation.